What's the atmosphere going to be like for Matthew Stafford on Sunday night? I hope it's the same as last year.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Matt Derry with you on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day on a Tuesday, September 3rd and a Wednesday, September 4th. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Game week continues. We got Lions, we got Rams coming up Sunday night at Ford Field. Play should be going nuts for the season opener and a chance for the Lions to beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams yet again, just like they did last year in the playoffs. Locked On Lions today brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. Follow us on Twitter, Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions, the Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And thanks to all of you for subscribing, those of you that do, and watch us for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Got to give a hello to the everydayers that are out there that watch and listen to the show daily. Appreciate all of you as well. I know how excited you are for Sunday. This is it. I mean, like, we got real football here. We're talking about games. We're already preparing for games. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford and the Rams and Stafford coming back to town again this coming Sunday night. Also, I've got a kicker situation. No, I'm not going to reach for the piece of paper. Where's the piece of paper? I'm not reaching for the list. No. But I am going to talk about how rookie kickers are going to play a factor in this season for not only the Lions and not only for week one, but down the road. I will explain that coming up momentarily here on Locked On Lions. Also, the Rams have some issues that nobody's talking about that I think are going to be a big factor Sunday night that are going to help the Lions. And a couple more writers nationally have picked Detroit to win the Super Bowl. We will tell you who those guys are as well, coming up momentarily here on this edition of Locked On Lions. I got to look something up here while I am literally talking. We've got FanDuel. We've got our friends at Gametime today. And we also have our friends at BetterHelp today sponsoring the show as well. All right, so let's get into the Stafford thing first and foremost. On Monday, both Taylor Decker and Alex Anzalone spoke about the environment that they expect for Sunday night when Stafford and the Rams come back to Ford Field. Last year was a complete, no one was prepared for this. All right, I sensed it a mile away that it was going to be Lions-Rams, but the Lions didn't have a lot of time to decide on, whether or not, they were going to do a tribute video for Stafford or they were going to, and the Lions did it right. Give credit to Rod Wood, Sheila, whomever was in charge of this stuff. The Lions knew this is a playoff game. This is not old home week. This isn't hugs and kisses for Matthew and Kelly. And they did nothing to honor him. There wasn't a video. There wasn't a thank you. This was war. This was win or go home. And the Lions handled that great. Stafford got booed, of course. He couldn't believe how badly he got booed. His wife popped off about the boo birds and all this stuff. And now here we are, week one, September 8th, Sunday night, NBC. Tirico and Collinsworth are back in the building, 8:20, the whole thing. And again, it's Matthew Stafford and the Rams coming back. This is the Lions have played one home game since that, and that was the Tampa playoff game. Now they're right back with the Rams again and Sean McVay and the whole thing. And anyway, Anzalone and Decker were asked about it today, and they said, look, we expect to break like decibel records in terms of noise and the crowd getting into it and everything else. And they just know that this crowd and this fan base wants one thing, and that's just to win. And then when the next week comes and it's Tampa Bay, same thing. And then in 3 weeks when Seattle comes in for Monday Night Football, which fans have been a little bit lathered up before they get to a night game, same thing. But I do think it wouldn't bother me if the Lions did some sort of quick video tribute and said hey to Matthew Stafford before kickoff or whatever, because it's not a playoff game. If the Lions lose the game, it's not the end of the world. They've got 16 more. Unlike last year where it wasn't time or place to be doing tribute videos. So that wouldn't bother me. But I'll say this. I hope that it's just as loud as it was for that playoff game. And I was there last year in January for that playoff game in the building. I hope it's just as loud. I hope it's just as ferocious. I hope it's just as raucous, and it causes false starts or whatever it is to help the Lions beat the Rams. Stafford is really, really good. All right. No one's arguing that. But it's time to, hopefully, after this Sunday, it is time to put all this to rest. We know that his wife is constantly looking for attention and will be podcasting with Hank Winchester about her experience coming back to Detroit yet again. I'm sure she'll be on camera at some point and all of this stuff. But the bottom line is the Lions need to win a football game. And last year, that game was very close, too close for comfort. There were times in that game where Stafford had way too much time to throw. Puka Nacua lit him up. The secondary struggled at times with tackling, and the Rams were right there until the end when the Lions finally kind of put the game away and won it. But it was a very close game. You hope this Sunday that with the improvements that the Lions have made in the secondary at the secondary positions, at corner and moving Branch back to safety and the upgrades that they made with Marcus Davenport off the edge and everything else. And if DJ Reader plays, which I'm not sure he will, that the Lions are well equipped to handle their business, beat Stafford again, and then be done with it. But it will be a different environment. It will still be a loud environment, but it won't be that raucous first playoff game we've hosted in, 40 years, 30 years, whatever it was last year, 30 years. That was a wild scene. That was 2 hours before the game, Jared Goff chants. That was out for blood. That was a playoff environment. And so was the next week against Tampa. This should still be loud. This should still be incredible. I mean, heck, did you hear the crowd for Lions Steelers preseason when the defense was on the field? It was loud. But it just won't have that same vitriol, I don't think, that it had last January. Maybe the Lions are putting something together. Quick tribute for Matthew Stafford. Thank him, put him up on the screen, let him wave, and then kick his ass. That's how I would do it. But, Anzalone and Decker both said that it's going to be crazy. And that's what they expect. And they know how hungry this fan base is. And all the environments this year, when the Lions play, and you look at the home schedule and you got Rams, Bucks, Seahawks, Titans, Jags, Bears, Packers, Bills, Vikings, all those games are all going to sound like playoff games. Not sure they're going to have that same energy that first playoff game had last year, which was historic. First one they hosted since 93 when they lost the Sterling Sharp game at the Dome. But it's going to be exciting. And I've got something coming up in a little bit that I think is going to help the Lions and really hurt the Rams. And I'll tease it with this. A familiar face to Lions fans is going to be playing out of position on Sunday night. And this could be a big problem for the Rams. I'm surprised they're doing this, but we will get into that coming up next. Also, I want to talk about some the kicker situations for both teams this Sunday and for another very important team that the Lions are going to be facing twice this year. The NFC could come down to the kicking situation, as crazy as that sounds. We will get into that coming up next, right here on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. You've heard us talk about FanDuel forever. America's #1 sports book, right? Tigers and Padres resuming their series. You want to put some money down on the Tigers who are playing really good baseball? You can do it at FanDuel. College football is back, same thing. But we got something a little bit different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 on anything and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. How about that? Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel.com, Go there now. Bet the over on the Lions, 10.5 wins at FanDuel. Shout out to our everydayers who are out there that watch and listen to the program. Got to give a shout out to my guys, Chris Druin, his son Gannon Druin, big everydayer, and also Joseph Allen, the legend over at Mid-States Advisors. They are some everydayers that we always appreciate checking us out. Our guy Colin Eads down in Alabama as well, always an everydayer. Thanks to everybody that checks us out and watches us each and every day right here on Locked On Lions. Vanessa Stanley, always Vanessa, we love you. She's got grandkids popping up everywhere. Stanley's are great Lions fans. All right, let me get into this kicking situation. As we know, yours truly loves talking about Jake Bates and the Lions kicking situation. I'm reaching for it. I'm not picking it up. My sheet of paper that I've had written down all the kickers from the last 4 years of the Brad Holmes era. Lions are going with Jake Bates, a rookie that has never kicked before in an NFL game. He's kicked, of course, in the preseason, the UFL, was a soccer player, all of those things. We know all about that. This coming Sunday there will not be just one, but rather two rookie kickers on the field for Sunday Night Football when the Lions face the Rams. Yes, that is right. Joshua Cardi, no relation to Playboy Cardi or Cardi B or Rico Cardi, for all you baseball fans out there. Joshua Cardi is the Rams' new kicker. You recall last year, the playoff game, Brett Maher was kicking for the Rams. He's gone, and the Rams have elected to go with a rookie from Stanford in Joshua Cardi, who I believe made 5 out of 6 during the preseason. So you've got a rookie kicker on one side in Jake Bates, and you've got Joshua Cardi kicking for the Rams. So that's going to be an interesting environment for a first-time kicker, never kicked before in an NFL game, coming over from Stanford to kick in that Ford Field environment to open the season. Now, that's going to play a factor Sunday night, right? What if Cardi is shaky in his first game and he kicks one wide left and the Lions win by 2, whatever it is? Also, if you've noticed and you heard in Green Bay, they had the Anders Carlson versus Greg the Leg competition. Greg Joseph, formerly of the Vikings. Anders Carlson, of course, was drafted by the Packers last year. Joseph apparently won. Carlson was cut. Then Joseph was cut the next day. And the Packers have elected to go with a rookie kicker themselves in Braden Narveson, who did not win the kicking job with the Tennessee Titans, coming out of NC State. Narveson has a big leg, looked pretty good in the preseason, but the Titans elected to not keep Narveson, and now he is on the Packers. So these are all teams, the Lions, the Packers, the Rams, who are all going to be vying for that top of the NFC. Last year we saw Jake Moody from the Niners, really struggle as a rookie coming out of Michigan. And look, we all thought at least, watching Michigan football, which we all do each and every week, watching Michigan State, we all thought Jake Moody, great job by the Niners. They drafted him like the 3rd or 4th round. Smart pick. The guy's going to be great in the NFL. He wasn't. Jake Moody had a really lousy year. Anders Carlson, Packers, same thing. Older brother kicked for the Raiders for years. In Daniel Carlson. And Anders struggled so badly that now he's out of football. So you got Braden Narveson with the Packers, rookie. You've got Joshua Cardi with the Rams, rookie, and Jake Bates. It's interesting how all of these teams are going with brand new guys and guys that don't have experience. Now, Brandon Aubrey last year never kicked before for the Cowboys, and he was phenomenal, setting records for how good he was. Hopefully for Jake Bates, that happens here. And hopefully for guys like Narveson and Cardi, it doesn't work out because that will help the Lions' cause. So keep an eye on that. It's a very interesting situation that the Packers brought in Greg Joseph to compete with Carlson. Neither guy won the job, and they went with a guy that the Titans let go, tried to sneak onto their practice squad, but the Packers picked him up in Braden Narveson. Another interesting sidebar for Sunday night, and this is something that's not getting enough play around here that I want to bring up. Of course, you've got former Lion Matthew Stafford, but you've got former Lion Jonah Jackson, who signed a massive contract, $17.5, $18 million a year, to go to the Rams to play left guard, and they were going to move Steve Avila over to the right side. Folks, Sunday night, Jonah Jackson is going to start at center. The Rams wanted to move Avila over from left guard to center. Jackson was going to play left guard. And now they've decided this week, Steve Avila, who's a very good football player. We had him on the show a couple years ago. I was rookie out of TCU last year. Steve Avila is going to stay at left guard. And Jonah Jackson, who has not played center since college, is going to be the starting center for the Rams with all that noise and everything else at Ford Field this coming Sunday night. First NFL start at center for Jonah. Wow. In that environment, I think that's advantage Lions. Rams thought they were moving Avila over there. Now they're not. Jonah's been injured most of preseason and training camp and really hasn't played much. And now they're catapulting him over to the center position for the first time in the NFL. Of course, Jonah only played guard here with the Lions. Another thing to keep a note of, Detroit native Alaric Jackson, who is the left tackle on Stafford's blind side, is suspended for 2 games to start the year. He's not playing Sunday night. Joe Notebloom, the 31-year-old veteran who's started plenty of games in his career and is kind of a reliable backup, is their left tackle. So you've got Jonah Jackson at center, has never played there before, and Joe Notebloom at left tackle for the suspended Alaric Jackson. Hopefully, this is the opportunity for the Davenports, the Hutchinsons, the Pascals, James Houston, all of these guys to get home and really, really harass Matthew Stafford. The Rams have Kevin Dotson now on the interior of that offensive line. They've got Jonah Jackson. They drafted Steve Avila. They've sunk in a lot of money to that offensive line. But this is advantage Lions. Imagine the crowd noise and imagine Jonah Jackson having to. And look, Jonah's a good football player. We know this. I was all for keeping him and playing him at guard. He got paid a lot of money by the Rams, $17.5 million a year to leave, and the Lions were not going to go that high to keep him. They instead got Kevin Zeitler for $6 million and re-signed Graham Glasgow for what, 11 or 12? So I think the Lions are in good shape. But keep an eye on Jonah Jackson, maybe skipping a couple of shotgun snaps to the feet of Matthew Stafford, not being able to handle it. He's been injured. So this is something to keep an eye on. Hopefully the Lions really kind of pin their ears back and attack that Rams offensive line, which is not experienced with Jonah at center now, with no Alaric Jackson at left tackle. This could be something that could be a big-time advantage for the Lions. And this is something that I want to see every week. Marcus Davenport was signed to a 1-year deal, a prove-it 1-year deal, to be healthy, to get to the quarterback, and to be that opposite edge of Hutchinson that can be consistent and be a force. And if that doesn't happen this year, and there's rotating guys in there and the Lions are trying everything, I have a feeling they'll be drafting one of these guys, be drafting an edge next year. Now, if Davenport does well and the Lions can keep him around, which when they sign guys and they play well, they like to keep them. Remember that's what they did with Charles Harris. That's what they did with Romeo Okwara. This would be great. When healthy, Marcus Davenport is really, really good. But he just hasn't been healthy either in Minnesota or New Orleans the last couple of years. So the hope now is that Davenport is healthy and that the Lions can get some semblance of a pass rush, not named Aiden Hutchinson and not named Anzalone and Melifanu on blitzes, that they can just use the 4 guys that they have to get home. So watch out for that Sunday night when the Rams come to town. And we'll see where that all goes. All right, coming up next, a couple more NFL.com writers say Lions to win the Super Bowl. We will tell you who those gentlemen are and what they said coming up next. And Locked On Lions brought to you by the Gametime app. Love the folks at Gametime. Love going on the Gametime app and just buying tickets to anything, whether it's concerts, whether it's Lions tickets, Tigers tickets, whatever it is. I told you yesterday, I'm buying some Colts Packers tickets for my son who wants to go to Lambeau Field. They're right there on the Gametime app, and it's so easy to use. Gametime has a new feature too called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Seriously, fantastic stuff. Gametime Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Plus, I got that all-in pricing. All right. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Right. All-in pricing is so good. The view from your seat, you get the panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. You turn right, you turn left, you know exactly where you're sitting. That is what makes Gametime the best ticket app out there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. And Locked On Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, what's something you love to learn right now? Always as an adult, do you make time to learn new things as often as you'd like to? Or was that kind of lost in childhood? Kids are always learning and growing and going to school and learning, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something you like to learn? Is it gardening? Is it a new language? Maybe you want to learn how to play pickleball or something like that. Well, therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back to school era can come at any age. If you're thinking about starting up therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get a match with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists, which is really cool, anytime for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Matt Derry back with you with Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. We got the Thursday crossover coming up with Travis Rogers, the host of Locked On Rams. We'll get more into this Jonah Jackson experiment and everything else at center with T-Raj coming up on Thursday. All right, I made you this promise, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just Sports Illustrated picking the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I have discovered two more writers that have projected the Lions to win the whole thing. Our good buddy Nick Shook, we'll have to get Nick on the show, from NFL.com, picks the Lions over the Texans in the NFL.com writers' predictions. Nick says two teams reach their first ever Super Bowl, but only one can emerge victorious. Detroit finishes what it started a year ago, capping an incredible turnaround by bringing the Motor City its first Lombardi trophy. End quote. That is from Nick Shook at NFL.com. Also, Matt Okada, Lions over Ravens. Quote, Lamar Jackson ends Kansas City's bid at a three-peat in the AFC title game, but falls to America's new team, the Detroit Lions, on an overtime touchdown pass to Jameson Williams, end quote. Could you imagine Jared Goff to J-Mo to win a Super Bowl? Jameson Williams a walk-off to win a Super Bowl. That would be incredible. And then Woodward Avenue burns to the ground in a good way. That would be crazy. Now, I looked this up. There were 9 votes for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, to win it all. 5 votes for the 49ers in terms of writers at NFL.com. The Packers got 3 votes. Kevin Patra, who I know, Jeremy Bergman, and Michael Baca. Ravens got 2 votes. Bengals got 2 votes to win it all. Lions 2 votes. Bills 1. Adam Rank picked the Bears to beat the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Adam Rank is based out of Chicago. That is ridiculous. The Bears got a vote. Jacksonville 1. Jets 1. Eagles 1. And that's it. So, but hey, look, shout out to Nick Shook and Matt Okada for picking the Lions to win it all. I'm not going to go that far. I think if the Lions somehow made it to the Super Bowl, we would be through the roof excited. You look at the AFC and you see how good it is. Was filling in yesterday on Cleveland radio on 92.3 The Fan on Monday morning on Labor Day, and we were talking about the Browns a little bit. And the Browns, nobody's picking to make the playoffs. But a year ago, they won 11 games and went to the playoffs and lost to Houston. But you look at the AFC and all of those teams there. I mean, Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Jets, Miami, Buffalo, Kansas City, the Chargers. The Browns are a good team. They are. The Jets, people are picking to do some damage. The AFC is just loaded. NFC is a different story. NFC's good. All right. Falcons are an improved team. Rams, I think, are going to be good when it's all said and done. I think it's better than it maybe was a year ago. I'm not sure about Dallas. Philly, we'll see. But why not the Lions? I think they can absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. All right, that'll do it for our Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Back again tomorrow for our Wednesday edition. We'll get the crossover on Thursday. Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.